Mayor Steam. Councilmember at Large Austin.
Present.
Councilmember Pashusta.
Present.
Fisher.
Present.
Baskin. Helly.
Present.
Waller.
Present.
King.
Present.
We have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you. No additions or thing to the agenda, so we need a motion for adoption of the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We need a motion to approve the minutes from the September 3rd, 2019 meeting.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We have no recognition and awards, so we need a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, bringing us to item number 5 under petitions and requests. It's a resolution setting the property tax levy and adopting a proposed budget for taxes payable in 2020. Mr. Dankert.
As has been discussed at some of the work sessions we've had in the last couple months relating to the 2020 property tax and the proposed budget for 2020, we are proposing a tax levy of $7,150,000 for next year and a proposed budget of $35,913,342. Please note, after today, or after the September 30th deadline, you will not be able to increase the tax levy. You can reduce it. You can increase the budget, you just can't use taxes to pay for such. And I have not been part of the closed meetings on the comp and class study, so just want to ensure that the dollars we've got set aside are within the parameters of the $7,150,000. Otherwise, this is going to be your last chance to change anything with that tax levy. And it's a 4.03% increase over the 2019 levy.
And I think we talked about that. We're good with where we're at, so.
And finally, the Truth and Taxation hearing is scheduled for Wednesday, December 4th at 6 o'clock. And we'll have more discussions with the council in work sessions to try to do some fine tuning to the budget, but that's where we're at right now.
All right, council, any comments, questions, concerns? If not, then we need a resolution.
So moved resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Pashusta.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Waller.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
All right. Number 6 is a motion approving $6,025 from 2019 contingency funds for the library lighting project. Ms. Kleinfelter? I know
Yes. Yes, this is, we talked about this last time at the work session. We're asking for approval for from the city council to use approximately $6,000 from the contingency fund to cover the additional work that we need to finish the exterior lighting on the library.
All right. Any questions, council?
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 7 is a motion approving the Stivers Nursery project property as part of the city archery deer hunt. Kevin.
We had a request from the owner of Stivers Nursery to include them in the hunt. Their property is approximately 700 feet in length by about 200 feet in width, and it would meet the required setbacks in terms of having a stand in there.
All right. Any questions, council? If not, we need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Item 8 is a resolution approving a memorandum of agreement with the police supervisors unit. Ms. Wickman?
Good evening, council. So before you tonight is the MOA for police supervisors. This is identical to the resolution you approved last meeting for LES. The approval of this MOA allows for a 2.25% increase for 2019 wages, and it'll go back to January 1, 2019. And then so this is just an increase, again, for the COLA, for the cost of living for 2019.
Council, any questions? If not, we need a resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Pashusta.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Waller.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Item number 9 is a resolution approving the donation of a fire trailer to the Owatonna Fire Department. Chief McCoy.
In 2004, we entered into a ownership agreement with Albert Lee, Medford, and Owatonna for a fire safety trailer. We no longer use the trailer, and the repairs now exceed the value of the trailer. Owatonna wishes to take ownership from the other 3 departments and repair the trailer. I recommend approval of donation of our share of the trailer to the Owatonna Fire Department.
All right, council, any questions, comments? If not, we need a resolution.
So moved resolution.
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Pashusta.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Waller.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
All right, item number 10 is a resolution approving a Toward Zero Deaths grant agreement. Chief McKeegan.
Every year we work with the state of Minnesota. They provide education to drivers and we provide the enforcement. Our officers and the Sheriff's Department deputies are reimbursed through this particular grant, and I'm asking the council to approve this to allow us to work with the state for the next fiscal year.
All right, council, any questions or comments? If not, we need a resolution.
So move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Pashusta.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Waller.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Item number 11 is a resolution approving an agreement with WSB and Associates Incorporated for a zoning and subdivision code update. Ms. Wallace.
Back in 2015, 2016, we went through a very long process to update our comprehensive plan. As part of that process, we updated zoning designations, which are now inconsistent with our current zoning code. It was recommended at the time and was added to update our zoning code, and some dollars for that were added to our CIP for 2019. So we waited 3 years to move forward with that project. This summer, I sent out some RFPs to 3 different consultants. We got back bids from 2 consultants, and we're recommending a bid from WSB. I did put together with WSB a short intro to the zoning and subdivision code update. One of the things, or there were a few things that have been of concern to my department, and I think for the city overall. One of those was the annexation over time and over many years of the properties in the county that had failing septic systems. And maybe we could develop some ways to address that issue as part of this process when updating our subdivision code. Some of the other things that we wanted to look at, again, we're making sure that we're consistent with our future land use map with our current zoning code, that we are current with laws that have been passed in the last decade or more by the state and federal government. And we want to make sure that we are having a positive impact on all of the development that happens in the city, whether it's new development or continued renovations and reinvestment in properties here in Austin. And we just want to make sure that every square foot of land that we have here in the city, which is very valuable to us and to the people who live here, that we're using it to its greatest potential. And the zoning code has a big impact on that. So this just goes over what zoning is. If you've had a chance to check into that, it's just weighing the balance between private property use and the use, and the prosperity, health, and safety of the community as a whole. Again, we had just adopted our comprehensive plan and updated that, which impacted our zoning code. We haven't updated our zoning code since the 70s, at least not comprehensively. And we're hoping to spur development by doing so. This just goes through the list of things that are generally important to any community in updating their zoning code. And then I highlighted a few things already that are more important to our city specifically. Just a little detail about how a well-organized and easy to understand zoning code can have an impact on the community. And this is just an indication of some of the things that would be added to the code. We would have more visual representations of how the code would impact specific development standards. And then this is just the project schedule. It will take, it'll be pretty intensive. We'll start some things, if approved, this fall. There will be a meeting with Planning Commission, hopefully a joint meeting with Planning Commission and City Council to give some detailed information about how the whole process will happen. And then there will be some additional review of the zoning code as we move forward, and then development of a new draft ordinance. And then they're also adding additional assistance to us for the year of 2020 to help implement the code as needed. There will be a great deal of public engagement, which is always important in all of the planning activities we do. To better inform ourselves about what works in our community, we obviously need to engage with our citizens. And then there's just, I think everybody knows how difficult that can actually be no matter what our intentions are. So these are just a list of potential ways to engage with the community in order to get the greatest possible participation. And then again, just our final steps will be drafting code and zoning map, reviewing and adopting and implementing. Do you have any questions?
Council.
I just wanted to comment. I'm excited about this. I got to serve on the Planning and Zoning Council, and just the visuals alone to help understand what the rules are trying to say would have been helpful to me as a commissioner. And so, and I know that a lot of the things that sort of seem like dry and boring have real life impacts, especially on people working on businesses and starting new businesses. So I'm applaud that we're moving forward with this, and I think your plan looks good, so keep going.
Thank you. I'm excited to have you all involved.
All right, we need a resolution then.
So moved resolution.
Is there a second? Mr. Danker.
Councilmember Pashusta.
Aye. Seems prudent.
Fisher.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Waller.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
All right, item 12 is two motions granting the Planning and Zoning Department the power to contract for the removal of junk and/or illegally stored vehicles at the following locations. A is 1007 9th Avenue Southwest, the Lau property. We need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item B is 1507 16th Street Southwest, the Moser property. We need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are now to citizens addressing the council. Is there anyone here that wishes to speak to the council about anything? Hearing none. Any comments from our honorary council member? All right, reports and recommendations. We'll start down here with Joyce.
I have nothing, thank you.
Stephen?
Nothing, Honor.
Rebecca?
Nothing.
I have nothing. Laura?
Of course I have something.
Of course.
So we are in the midst of Welcoming Week. The Austin Human Rights Commission is one of the partners in that event where we celebrate the diversity of our community. I wanted to mention that I saw a letter to the editor in the Herald from a resident who was objecting to the flag display for Welcoming Week. So the flag display downtown on Main Street and 4th Avenue has a majority of our U.S. flags, and then interspersed every 2 or 3 flags is an international flag. And the writer felt that that was not appropriate, particularly on 9/11. And I just wanted to go on record and say that I could not disagree more. In fact, on 9/11, there were over 500 people in New York City alone who were killed, who are immigrants or refugees. So those people from other countries share in our pain when we have tragedies. They share in the burden of responding to emergencies. They share in the burden of military service. And we certainly have room for all of them in Austin. They make Austin better.
All right, thank you. Paul?
Nothing, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Clerk, any reports or?
I do. October 2nd, we've got notice from the House of Representatives that they'll be doing a mini session, they call it, from 10 to noon. I know the Elections Committee plans to use council chambers to bring highlight to the census and other election issues. The Capital Investment Committee will be going to our wastewater treatment plant, exciting destination. As well as some other sites in the community that have bonding requests. Other committees will be doing different things in the community. So look forward to that. If you can participate, we certainly would welcome council's participation in that. And then we also visited last week with folks at the chamber, and it sounds like the Freedom Fest, as far as the chamber's involvement, will be really limited to the parade, helping coordinate the parade activities. Certainly hand off to any other organization. They tell us it needs to have a 501c4 for the raffle component of it, which is a community festival organization, I guess. But that's had a lot of discussion from council. Otherwise, other staff members, looks like Stephen, Tom has an item that's on the council dais, and Julie.
Julie, we'll go ladies first.
Going along with the conversation we've had already, on October 2nd, the library has a presenter coming to talk about community building. He's going to be at Riverland Community College. It's a pair of them, actually. They're going to be at the college at 1 o'clock, and then we're going to do the program again at the library at 6:30. It's going to be really cool, so I encourage you to come out. It'll be a lot of fun.
Mr. Dankert.
Yes, Councilmember Baskin asked me to put something together regarding the proposed tax levy for 2020. So on your desks are handouts that I worked with Councilmember Baskin on to just give a brief synopsis of where tax dollars are going for the average homeowner in town. And we'll have it posted on the website tomorrow.
Thank you. Mr. Lang.
I just wanted to talk a minute about the rain event that we had last Thursday. So that rain event occurred on September 12th, which is actually a common date or September is a common period for large rain events for us here in the community. We estimate that there was a little over 4 inches that fell in a 2-hour time period, and that figures out to about a 50-year storm. So it was a pretty major event. Dobbins Creek crested at 12 feet in the morning of early Friday morning. The Cedar River crested at 14 feet, and the Turtle Creek didn't have any impacts. There were some parks that were closed. Markson Ballpark and Dresner Park were closed, but we didn't have any roadway closures. We were very close to closing 9th Place down by Bandshell Park, but we were able to keep that open. That was right about the time we wanted to keep it open at 8 a.m. on Friday morning for school bus traffic, and that was about the same time that the river was cresting and starting to go back down. So we didn't have any roadway closures. We did have large spikes at the wastewater treatment plant. Flows were extremely high, as they have been in the past. We were able to utilize some empty tanks that we have for overflow storage, and we didn't have to have any discharges to the river, so those were all good things. I have heard from residents in different areas of the community that have had some sewer backups, maybe water in their basement for different reasons. Some had it coming in their windows just through side yard drainage that just couldn't handle that volume of water in that short period of time. But overall, for that type of event, I never like to minimize things, because if you did have an impact, it's a major impact if you have a sewer backup or something like that. But for the most part, we haven't heard very many claims or complaints of sewer backup, so it seems like for the most part the community handled it pretty well.
So if that was a once in a 50-year storm, what are the odds of it happening right when school was letting out and buses were trying to... I mean, does that make it like a 500-year storm?
Yeah, that's the timing of it in the middle of the afternoon like that. Usually, large thunderstorms will come through a little bit closer to evening, more 5 or 6 o'clock. But yeah, that was a terrible time for Ellis. For instance, that 4th Avenue was flooded really bad. I don't think the road project with the railroad underpass being closed really had an impact, because it likely would have been closed anyway because of all of the heavy drainage in that area. So people still would have been limited to 4th Avenue Southeast and 8th Avenue Northeast. But yeah, it was, for any of those schools, it was poor timing for the rain event.
So I'm going to tell my 5th grader next time that happens, she won't be on a bus.
Bus is
Fair.
probably safer than a lot of other vehicles. to be
Yeah, it's
honest.
good high clearance, yes.
I'm sure that's logical. I'm not so sure that was
Well,
much
yeah,
help
hearing
when
from the
she
bus
was.
company, there were a lot
Yeah.
of little kids that were very scared during the
Yes.
event, so.
Yes,
And out in the rain too, some of them weren't even in a bus.
right. Thank you, Stephen.
Anything else? If not, we need a motion to adjourn to Monday, October 7th, 2019 at 5:30 PM in the council chambers.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Take a short break and meet in the conference room across.